My name is Jawyei. I work at the Centre of Teaching for Learning, and I am primarily a developer for Blackboard and Mahara, but I also support both the platforms as well. Do you want to introduce yourself, Shen?
So basically I work with Jawyei and just Michelle and audience. We are the Blackboard team and Mahara team supports the lectures using the
Okay, so our plugin, which is called the Group Image Display plugin, was initiated first by the School of Art and Design. They were transitioning from Moodle and wanted a portfolio tool for their students. In Moodle, they were using a database tool which they've modified and called the image blog. The image blog displays thumbnails of the last submitted images by students grouped by student's name. And what it looked like is that. Now, this is just a mock-up because I haven't got their permission to show it, so it's all my images and it's all my name down there. So, but that's roughly what it looked like in Moodle using the database tool. So whenever a student submits an image into the database, it will come up here with the thumbnail of the image and then what they submitted it to. So you can see that this is a very visual display, a very visual way to see what students have actually submitted to their Moodle course, essentially. And them moving on to a different system out of Moodle, they wanted a way in which they can do this, because they're art and design people. They want it to be visual, and if it's not going to be visual, they're not going to use it, essentially. So in Mahara, there was no...
before we go on to Mahara, I think we also work with the art and design lectures looking at other options. So there is Instagram, and there is Flickr. Could possibly, do you want to?
Yes, well, Flickr, Instagram, there were Behance as well, and Tumblr was another option for them. But the problem that the art and design people have with those particular things is that they were open to the public. They were not under a walled sort of system, and anyone can share anything out to the public, and they've got no control over that. And because the students are starting off, they don't want to be displaying to the world what the students are doing at year one, and especially if they haven't signed off upon it and say, oh, you know, this is actually good work, and haven't criticised it, well, not criticised, assessed it and given correct feedback to the students yet. So then they had a look at Mahara, because Mahara is housed at AUT. The problem with Mahara is that there is no visual elements in Mahara to actually show anything like this in the group page that they're wanting to do it. And because they say, well, there's no visual elements, it's going to be boring and it's just going to be text, we're not going to use it.
One thing that the reason why we started to look at Mahara, before Jawyei goes on complaining about Mahara, is
not complaining.
Is that actually we see Mahara. Well, we are trying to look at the social elements of Mahara and how we could enable students to work together. But on the other hand, Mahara is, for us, for the lectures, we consider it as it's a safe learning environment that students can have a play and do work in progress, and before they actually publish their work, the final end product to the world.
Yeah. So after some searching to see if we can find any sort of plugins or anything to bring up pages visually, Stanley Frederick, which was the opening speaker yesterday at the Mahara opening, found a Mahara instance used by the University of Art in London, in which they are showing this in a visual way. So the workflow is their Mahara instance in which they've called, and a person by the name of Mike Kelly, was it Michael Kelly? Yeah, Michael Kelly has developed a way in which they will show pages that is submitted that has been shared publicly to be displayed in this sort of format here. Just go out and have a The URL for that is workflow.arts.ac.uk, and it's not going to do anything for me now, is it? Does it come up? It doesn't. So here is the page in question that we're looking at. Each of these elements has a rollover, so you can see who has submitted it. You can view the person's profile. Well, if you've logged in, you can view the image that's displayed in the thumbnail, or you can view the page that this image sits on. Okay, so something like this is exactly what we're wanting, and exactly something that we could use to show to the art and design lecturers that we can actually represent what they've been doing in the image blog in Mahara groups. You want to now show off what they've been doing?
Okay, I'll log in into our Mahara and just show you how the image display, group image display plugin would look like. So this is a page that I picked up that originally, so this is everyone familiar with this group page. So this is just a default group group home page. So what we've done is that we created a blog. So in here, we have installed these group pages and image display, and all what you need to do is simply drag and drop, and we could go done. Okay, so now instead of seeing a list of text with students' names, that doesn't really show anything rather than a name, and sometimes students could be using some session names that doesn't even tell you anything. So by using our image display plugin, you can see straight away what you could possibly see in the students' work, and it works pretty much the same. So Mike Kelly has kindly shared, well, his plugin is available in GitHub as well, and the link Jawyei has, it will be...
It's in that area, which I'll bring back up again.
Yeah, so while Jawyei is doing the presentation, I have tweeted, and if you check your Twitter feeds, you will be able to take to our GitHub link where we published our plugin. Okay, so it works exactly the same as what Mike Kelly's plugin works in terms of this page, but we moved it from the being kind of showing on a public area, but brought it in to be available in a group, so lecturers can be monitoring the students' progress on their work within a group. So it's more like a work in progress, secure, nice learning environment. Yeah, so just something like this. Okay, so when you go in, it's exactly the same. And once we've developed this, we find that there is actually more potential to this area. So what we did, if you were in a session with Lisa and me in the morning, you would know that we use activity sheets. So this is an example of we sharing the activity sheets with students. We use quite a lot with groups. Our lecturers use quite a lot with groups. So when they have a new batch of students using Mahara, they would create a group in our Mahara system, and the lecturers would be, say, sharing pages with the students. So here's an example that's making the pre-populated information for students more visually. This is the activity sheet that we pre-populated for the nursing students. So they could, once, even before we ran the workshop with the student, they could go onto a Mahara page, go into their own group, and they can see this worksheet and they can view it, and they can start to work on it, following the steps. Okay, so this is another instance of how we used it. It's probably the same but it just kind of gives a more visual, more attractive view when the student goes onto the group page. The other thing I would like to show is this one. So with this hospitality lecture, what she has done is, this is the template that she has created for her students that they could copy. And in the meantime, she has copied off some previous students' good work. So it's a kind of showcase how you could work with Mahara and what kind of possibilities you can have. So it can be all pre-populated for the group and in a quite nice view. Still, we need to probably work on those ones. Yes?
Does it mean that there needs to be an image
yes.
from an image block
yeah.
on the page so that it can be shown there? So is this the reason why on that template, when you hover, we can only see the picture of the owner of the page?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll explain that. So at the moment, with the template, you can see what we call a placeholder image. It's actually referencing an image that Mahara uses. So if Mahara call code and changes that particular image, that image will change as well. I can't actually remember off the top of my head where that's located. When you hover your mouse over any block image, it will show the person that page is owning to. So if Shen hovers over that one, you can see that Linda has done that one.
Nice,
and
yeah.
if you hover over Boom set, is that also Linda? Shen?
Yeah, it is. She's copied off
It
all
will
the
show
students.
whoever has actually submitted that page. And if they've got a profile picture, it will show their profile picture here.
And if there are several images on the page?
Okay, that's actually going into what I was going to say after.
I'll wait.
I'll go into that. So this is a bit technical. We are returning a list of images by a function in the API. So, and we're picking the very first image that particular function returns. So at the moment, I'm not sure what order that returns it in. Shen's recently told me it's returning a descending order now, for some reason. I thought it was ascending order, so it would be the very first image they put on the page. But now it looks like it's the last image they put on the page that will get displayed there. Yeah.
And the other thing that we started to look at using this image block is our examples of ePortfolios. If you were in a session with Lisa and I in the morning, you might have already seen this. What we're trying to do here is to create a resource for the students so that they can see the possibilities, at least on layouts, or different blocks could have different effects when they using by using different options. So one page. So it just kind of gives it quite a visual, nice view of the whole page design. And if we just, yeah, Jawyei's done a great job doing some of the showcase pages. So this is one of our pages, kind of shows the possibility of using different layouts and yeah. So basically it has 3 rows, and then the middle one is a one huge column, and the top and the bottom one is 3 columns. And because Jawyei has done the using the text in a slightly different way, it just looks quite impressive. The other one is the landscape page. So this is the example of how you could use image gallery to kind of show off your images, and then maybe do a bit of description what's happening. And also, this is another one we would like to share. So in Mahara, as you know, when you drag and block to the content area, you get to there is a kind of default title area, and when you drag an image block, it defaults as like an image in the title, and if you don't change it, it shows you this. And if you take it out, it shows you this. So just basically kind of showing the students, if you do a little bit change on the setting, it actually gives you a quite different view, quite different effect for the page layout. Okay. Right, so that's about me. Thank you, Jawyei.
Okay, so some of the decision-making process, as we talked about before, we have a placeholder image if they don't have an image in the page itself. At the moment, what it will do is that it will pick up any, it'll pick up, like I said, either the first or the last image that's been placed in the page. So it will just pick one of these and place it as the thumbnail view. It can also do image gallery as well. So these are image galleries. Previously that wasn't doing that before, but I found out what that was. And also if they've also dragged in a folder with images and it's not showing an image gallery, they'll also pick an image out of that as well to be shown there. So with the workflow, we go back and look at workflow. These images here are portions of an image. So if we have a look at that image there, I think it's this one that we were viewing, you can see that once it loads, it's quite a, well, it's a big image. We're only showing the portion. It's not going to show again. Okay, so it's only showing a portion. Oh, no, there it is. It's only showing a portion of it. Yep. Now we are not doing that. We are actually showing the whole image in this bit here. And the reason why we've decided to do that is because, again, with the art and design students, especially the photography ones, their images that they upload will be massive. So you'll be showing like a red with like a little dot, and that's absolutely meaningless. So we've decided that instead of doing that, we were just going to scale the image down to fit in this frame here, and if the aspect ratio is not square, we're just going to put grey, you can't really see it there, but grey bands along there, so you can actually see the whole image. We decided that this actually is a better way to show, rather than just an image or just a single colour. We have done this as, so whenever a student adds an image, shares a page with a group, it will get placed there. And it's currently ordered by page creation date. Because at the moment, with these group pages here, I'm not entirely sure how that's actually ordered. Aaron might be able to tell us that, but I'm not entirely sure. So What we actually wanted to do was order it by shared date, but there's no option for that just yet. And I think Christina mentioned that the shared date field is incorrect. And also we have tried to use the Mahara API as much as possible rather than doing direct database queries. There is one that I had to actually do because there's no function for that as yet. I might put it in as a feature later on. So we're at the mercy of Mahara code. So that's why at the moment that the images are actually sorting by descending order, and that's why we're getting what Shen's doing. I did not realize that before. Okay, so improvements that we want to do is be able to sort by date shared, able to.
Just one moment. I just want to show you one of the pages. So actually, what we really want is for this group area, be able to have some sort of sorting function, because well, I think if you have lectures using the group for a large number of students, you would know that it actually makes this group page unnecessarily hugely long, and it's just impossible to find anything useful. And we actually, with this the image plugin, it visualizes it, but it doesn't solve the issue of like a huge long list. Oh, thank you, Jawyei. So with, like I said, for example, this one, originally the lecture has shared 3 templates with the students, and also some information about Creative Commons with the students. And because there is no sorting capability on the group page, we have to, as students sharing their page with the group, it gets pushed down to the bottom, and it just, it just doesn't make, doesn't work very well. So that's something that we probably would be talking to Aaron again.
And also, we would like to be able to group pages as well. So it would be very nice if we can go, a student has shared these pages, and we'll just, if we click on that student, it will just show all of the students' pages that's shared there as well. It's very handy if you've got quite a few number of submissions to a group. So again, with photography, they have they share 10 pages each per week, and they've got 50 students. That's 500 pages a week. So if we'd be able to group that, then that's actually quite handy to do. Also, I'd like to just add in closing that why would you do this? Well, if you have something like this, students, especially if they're visual, they'll come in and go, hey, that image just looked cool, I'll go into it. Click into that straight away. So if you have it as text, they will go, oh yeah, someone's posted an image, cool, assignment 1. But if they can see that they've got maybe an interesting image in there, they'll click into it and actually view it. So it's a good tool for students to give other students feedback on the pages that they've done, and it will almost be well, you can set this up and not tell the students to do it, and they'll automatically do it themselves due to the social media aspect of the internet these days. So that's it. Any questions?
I just want to say, we love it. We love to use it very much because we want to, and how we want to use it, we want to create a group that we share with the rest of these organisations. So to use it as a, still a bit of a closed environment within the Mahara environment, but to share, to showcase some of the work that our staff have done. So whether they've done a project or something like that, or done some postgrad or masters or something like that, whatever it is, if someone says really what we like, share it with everyone else, we'd like to use that sort of use of that.
Yep.
Nice way of doing it.
Yep. Just get in contact with us via email or something, and we can help you set that up. That's no problem. So here's the GitHub entry for this particular plugin. Here's our email addresses, Shen and myself. And if you're interested in what Mike Kelly has done, Here's the initial plugin for that. He's also now taken our code, branched our code off, and created his own one based off that. So now we've got so there's a system based on another system that's based on another system. It's all nice in this open source environment. That's one thing I like about it.
What changes did you guys make from Scala to
We stripped out a lot of the functions that's not required from it. In terms of the PHP code, it's largely the same. What changed was a lot of the JavaScript that he's created for it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have documented a lot of the stuff in the code itself, so I've commented a lot, trying to remember my uni days of like lecturers telling me, comment all your code. So I've done that to the best of my ability. But I can't remember off the top of my head, but we stripped more than we added. In the recent one, I have to actually add in a few more things to get to do.
Yeah, I was looking at the code in GitHub also just now. Yeah, it looks like there's might probably have some code in there about the colleges at the school.
Yep, which we didn't need. So it's been stripped. So more work will be done on it later on. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to get it and modify it if you want to. Any other questions?
Could you see that? Could you consider using this as like on a site page, for instance, as well? So maybe all of the images from all public pages on our site.
Well, Browse does that. So so might as well use Browse in that one there. Yeah.
Also, with Browse as public, and for some reason our students quite like to publish their pages, and we did try to use Mike Kelly's Browse plugin, and what we ended up with is this huge long list of pages the student randomly published. So yeah, so that is another main reason we couldn't really use Mike Kelly's plugin directly. But yeah. We do want to look at a more open, because group is very enclosed, it's very, yeah. We do want to look at a more open kind of platform to be able to showcase students' pages while the student has made, on the condition that student has made a wise decision of, yes, I'm sharing this page because I want to showcase my page, not because I don't know what happened. Yes, yes, something that we look at.
Any more questions? Or comments or anything? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's really got me thinking more on how we can display things more visually on a Mahara instance. So thank you for doing this work. It's actually in the open, and that can be rejig and adapted and everything, and building on existing plugins. So thank you very much. Both of you. Thank you very much.